There we go. Awesome. Hi, my loves. Welcome back to Journey Through the Darkness, the podcast. I am Jordy, your host, and I am a certified spiritual life coach, human design consultant, and life transitions coach. Today, I have such a treat for you guys. You are not going to believe it. So, I have Minerva Maharaj. Not only is she my mentor and my guide, she's amazing. So, she's known as the Goddess of Wisdom. She is an ICF accredited professional certified spiritual coach, the founder of Goddess of Wisdom Spiritual Life Coaching, director of Starseed Academy, where I got certified, she's a best-selling author, a Reiki practitioner, and Access Bars Facilitator. She is on a mission to show the impossible is truly possible. She teaches her mastered approach to manifestation and creating any reality that you want through a practical, grounded, and well-rounded approach in order to become a clear vibrational say that sentence again, in order to become a clear vibrational match for the life that you seek. Minerva's journey really is a testament in itself that anything is possible, and I can't wait to introduce you guys to her and for us to dive deeper into her journey and how she became the amazing soul that she is. Like I said, she's not only my teacher and mentor, she is also the blueprint of the coach that I wanted to embody when I chose this path. Welcome, Minerva. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I don't think anyone's ever introduced me like that. I'm gonna cry.
Aw,
Thank
well,
you.
you mean a lot to me. And I know I say it a lot, but you really are the blueprint. I love your approach to this spirituality and coaching, and your mindset, I think, is beautiful. So I'm grateful that you're here, but I'm even more excited to share you with everybody.
I love you. Thank you. And I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Well, I know I said the long intro, but do you want to introduce yourself to the audience? Tell them what you're about.
You said it really well. Like I'm on a mission to show how to achieve the impossible. So whatever that inkling in your soul is telling you there is more, that's what you want, is possible for you. I'm here to show you it is possible and to make it easier for you and you being a living testament of the impossible as well. I have my coaching school, Starseed Academy Coach Training. We have a cohort coming up. I'm sure we're going to dive into that and talk about how the impossible unfolded through that. And then I have my private coaching practice where I get to work with so many clients, like you were one of them, and through my private coaching and through my group coaching and masterminds. So I love my life and I wasn't here before, so I'm excited to talk about that journey and
Yes.
how I got here and doing all of that.
And I love that because this is all about the journey through the darkness. The energy really is understanding where you started, what you had to go through and overcome to get to this place where you are now, shining your light and helping everybody else shine theirs. So, walk us through that. What was your journey like?
Well, I was born in 1984, so
I'm a Gemini, I like love
once
my
upon a time.
friends.
um, it's a major journey. Like I even feel for our spiritual friends who are listening to this, like it wasn't just this lifetime. Like I'm an
Mhm.
old soul. I knew that. Like I had like the questions of like, why am I here? And looking up and being like, is there a God? But I feel like there's a greater energy here. And I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. Um, so I mean, I have my share of challenges, struggles, and some traumas, um, and I worked through that. Like I think to take it back to simplify it all is like I just remember being a little girl and anything I wanted. I had these big dreams to be a dancer, to be in the entertainment business, but to change lives. And I just felt my energy was always bigger than me. I just felt there was something bigger. I was bigger, and God, source was bigger, and there was something there. And I just always knew there was something greater possible. And I was, as my life that I was blessed with, there was contrast to that, where a lot of it, people, circumstances, my upbringing didn't say it was possible. And so I was told that through like loved ones and really my experiences. Like, for example, I ended up being a professional dancer before being a certified coach and owner of a school, and I was like the worst one in the class. And if you had told, literally, I was the worst one. I started late, and then when I started, my technique was all off. I was literally the worst. So then when I made it to the NBA as a dancer and choreographer and voted in as all-star dancer, people like were shocked, right? Like, so that was a perfect example of the impossible. And I share these stories for you, for the audience to hear that, like, we often think of we often see people at the quote unquote end, at like the shiny spotlight moments, the glamorous moments, but we don't see all the work, and we don't see the before and the in betweens often. And I've made a commitment to be more transparent about that, because, I get students and I get clients who say, but like, how did you get here now? And that's really what, Starseed is about. And that's what my private coaching is about, to work through those things so that it is possible.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Upbringing, these beliefs around you can only be this one way, that always triggered me. So I think that's what drew me to you more than anything, was you always said anything is possible. And I'm not sure that I believed it when I met you, but then we worked together, and you met me right at the beginning when I decided to be a coach. Not only were you my teacher, but eventually I became your client. We worked through so many blocks around, man, I actually get to be happy. I actually get to do this. Like, your life in itself is a testament, because being a dancer and then going from that to becoming a coach and now opening your own school, like, walk us through that transition a little bit. What happened in you that said, I'm done with dancing, I'm ready to move into coaching? What was that wake up call you had?
Yeah, that was a whole different life too, because that's what I always knew I wanted since I was 5, 6 years old. I wanted to be the next J-Lo. I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to act, and I made it happen. I got an agent. I took myself back in the day when there was newspapers and you flip through the auditions in the newspapers. I took myself like to the mall. I told my parents, "You're taking me to the mall today. I have an audition." So I knew that that was just part of my human and soul experience, to go through that from, I say 6 years old to 30 years old. And that's what I pursued. And I did the music videos. I booked a tour. I traveled the world. I did all that fun, quote unquote, glamorous stuff. Some of it was glamorous, some was not. But during that time, I just felt, on top of it already being a hard industry of rejection and all of that, is something I had to go through, but it was my calling at the moment. Like, it's what I was yearning for at the moment, and I had to go through that. But near the end, I got married 2015, and it was near the end there where I was just like, I'm married, we're living in at the time, like, our dream apartment, and we're by the lake. Like, things were good, but I just had this dread sinking feeling that this wasn't for me. And that was a really hard realization, because that's all I've ever known and ever wanted and ever worked for, right? And I've accomplished so much there that I'm like, also was quote unquote hard, all the stuff I did accomplish, that I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to start all over again and do this all over again to build up to this place. But ultimately it came down to this sinking feeling, and I was just like, that was harder to sit with, being in an industry or in the career at this point in my life where it was saying, this is not for me, this is not my purpose, this is not what I'm best at. And I really just got this, I just kept saying, I just want to wake up and know that I'm doing something to change lives, know I'm good at it, and be excited, and just wake up and go to my desk in my pajamas. Like, those are like the 3, 4 things I said I wanted. And I just kept leaning into that feeling, leaning into that feeling. And really it was spirit that guided me. My spirit, higher spirit, guided me through that. And then once I surrendered, I was just like, the unhappiness was just, it was enough. It was enough for me to say, to finally give up and not be like, oh, maybe I'll do that and this. I was like, no, source, spirit, tell me whatever it is I'm meant to do, and I will do it. I just kept saying that and affirming that. I kept saying, spirit, show me the way and I will do it. That was literally the affirmation I said over and over and over again. And then I had dreams. I like literally sleep dreams in my sleep, affirmations coming up, signs were coming. And the reason they were able to show up and I was able to recognize it is because I allowed myself, and I had the support of my husband, to I gave myself that space to really sink into what felt good. And in other words, to really get into a space of alignment, to be connected to source. I meditated, I went by the lake, I journaled, I ate a burger if I wanted. Like I literally listened to what felt good. And even the things that seemed so unrelated helped me to get there because I just literally committed to let me just follow what feels good because those are the clues. And then I had this big download. It kept coming. It showed up in dreams and people were messages, like certain things were being said to me. I just didn't understand it. And then finally, I'm like watching TV with my husband one day, and there's this download. I was just like, I can't shut my mind off. Let me just write it all out. Within an hour, I had a business plan of coaching with meditation, help people change their lives through meditation and go deeper into blocks. I didn't even know, like, hand to the sky, I had no idea there was anything called spiritual coaching. And then I went Googling coaching with meditation and came across spiritual coaching and haven't stopped then. Got certified, website, all of that. I have had my business for about 7 years now. And then it went into, I still have my coaching business. And I knew that once I hit a certain pinnacle within my business, I was going to open a spiritual coaching school to help people hit six figures and make an impact, make a real change in people's lives while making a consistent income.
Wow. It's beautiful how our stories are so different yet so aligned. It was
Yes.
exactly that sinking feeling of, why am I in this career? Why am I in this marriage? Why am I in this life that doesn't feel mine? Like I'm supposed to want marriage. I'm supposed to want children. I'm supposed to want six figures. I didn't have the children, but everything else I hit. And I was like, wow, I'm still so unhappy.
Yeah.
And you just lean into the question of, I'm meant to do something bigger. What is my purpose? And then it comes in signs and messages and downloads. And at the time, you're like, am I going crazy? What's going on here? But
Yeah.
then once you sit down and actually spend that time with everything that's coming up, I did just like you. I went on Google and I said, what is my life purpose? I had a list of 1
Wow.
through 20 of 20 things that I could do, right? Number
I love
20 was
that.
life coaching. Number 20. And
Amazing.
then when I put Life Purpose Academy, I don't remember the name of the school, the first one, Life Purpose Institute came
Yeah.
up and everything happened so quickly within 24 hours and boom, I was in.
Yeah.
And then once I was in, I was already walking the spiritual path. I was like, wow, this feels so right. And then I found myself in what I was doing.
Yeah.
There were things in that particular training that worked. And I'm grateful because I met you. I would have never crossed paths with you had I
Yeah.
not gone to that school. But personally, I always felt like there was something else missing, especially as a coach when you're new. Anybody can get a certificate, anybody can call themselves a coach, but there's a certain standard of what a good coach is. So I took the path. I know you met me there. You see me progress from like not knowing what I'm doing to the coach that I am now.
You're brilliant. Yeah. It's you are like a testament of like why I do what I do.
Thank you. And honestly, thank you. Thank you for being in my life because it's almost like when the student is ready, the teacher shows up, right?
Oh yeah.
You showed up and you showed out. So much so that walking away from life purpose, I never lost touch with you. I feel like I went from that to becoming your client, and then you opened your school. And the biggest thing for me was you were open to the spirituality because there's a certain level of, people are gifted. I personally am a medium. I get downloads. I have all these things that I haven't even tapped into. But when I started coaching, they started coming alive and I
Mhm.
didn't know what to do with it. So the fact that you created a school where all of this is welcome, encouraged, and there's enough room to like expand into all of who you are. Starseed was such a blessing in my life. And I think part of the reason I wanted to bring you on is because I want to share this gift with the world. I really, really feel like I went from a feeling at a 2 in confidence to like a 25 where I am now and more to
Yes.
go
Yeah.
because it really shifted something business wise. I realized this is not just a business. This is my life purpose. This is a calling. This is something that is so deeply ingrained. I can't go about it the way that I used to do business back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah. This is like who you are. This is your energy. This is your purpose. This is your mission. And it just keeps unfolding in so many ways. And yeah, and thank you for like you just explained that so beautifully. Um, like our spiritual gifts, I think that is one thing that makes Starseed stand out. Is not only that it's what we integrate, like we integrate that, but it's so needed in order to change lives, in order to have that abundant, consistent income. So it's such a foundational piece. It's not something, it's just like, if you want to add it on. I mean, in this program, you can end up changing into a health coach or business coach or whatever, but to have that spiritual component is just who you are. It's just, it's almost like you say you want to, get healthier, but you're just going to do it by working out and then not eat,
Mhm.
healthily, right? So it's like it's aspects of all of us, and the spiritual component, like we have Reiki masters, we have psychics, we have mediums, we have people just intuitive or empaths, and they don't know what to do with that. And then what happens is, whether either they're in their life and they feel so drained, so lost, so depressed, so unhappy because they're not utilizing their spiritual gifts and their talents and their desires and their purpose, right? Or they also, leaned into that and have a practice, like a spiritual healing practice, and sometimes they don't know how to use that to their benefit, to make that be a sustainable thing, because sometimes there's no boundaries energetically. There's so much money and energy blocks around that, and the structure part and the marketing part about how do you make this a sustainable business. And so it's not something to use against us or something we have to force on ourselves. It's something that is for us, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I'm not comparing between the two institutes in any way, but because I lived both, I can speak on both. So what I felt was missing was there needed to be a little bit more allowance to be different. That was number one. Number two, there is not a one set way marketing approach that works for everybody. And number three, like whatever you are, because at least for me, when I started, I had no idea I was gifted at anything. I had no idea my intuition could do what it can do, right? But it started developing as I started to lean more into my calling. The beauty of what Starseed allowed and why I love having you in my life, the word that comes up is alignment. Everything comes together, everything fits together, everything makes sense together. And it's not a business. Yes, you're building a business, but really there's so much personal growth that has to happen to be successful in a business. Because again, and I speak for myself, a lot of coaches, we had money blocks. We had all these things around like, we have to do it like everybody else is doing it. We have to do everything at the same time. And Starseed offered something that I had never had before, which is you can work on your own growth. You can work on building your business, and then it allows space to be whoever you are and integrate that into your business without discounting the fact that you're also a coach.
Yeah.
So I love what you created. I think it's so well rounded. I know alignment is huge and we use human design. That's how I fell in love with that too. But do you
Yes.
want to speak on that a little bit?
Yes. So many things I want to say in terms of alignment. Well, one thing that, to go back to the last point you said, one thing I believe that makes Starseed stand out is we focus on the strategy, we focus on the energy, we focus on the mindset as all these pillars that are involved, like the inner and outer, and that needs to come into alignment. And that's where there is flow. That's where there's consistency. That's where there's ease. That's where abundance follows. And it's not just like, let me just close my eyes and hope and let it fall in my lap. No, it's you creating the success, you having the foundational pieces. And I still have students to this day saying they keep going back to that as they're elevating their business, right? And same with me. I still have money blocks. I still, go through and revise my marketing. I still have to check in. And like, I was just talking to my coach the other day, and I'm like, something's missing in this piece of marketing. I cannot put my finger on it. And it was like a simple question that she said. I was like, oh my gosh, like marketing 101. And sometimes we forget, right? And then it just comes back into alignment. But it just, you keep, there's no end, right? And I think that's the beauty of it, is that we really embrace the growth in everyone where they are, whether they're starting or growing their business. And there's no end result. It's just expanding and evolving, and us being there with you at any stage of your coaching business, whether you're beginning or growing to the next level. And the most important thing, really, it is the key word, what it comes down to is alignment. We don't ever push anything on our students in terms of, you need to do sales calls. Because right now it's like, if you don't want to do a sales call, don't do a sales call, right? Don't You don't need to please. I actually am not in favor of cold calling people, but if that feels good and in alignment to you, alignment is just what feels good, then do that, right? So the way I market my business and the way you market your business, Jordy, we know we do it. There may be some similarities, but we do it differently. And
Mhm.
so we don't have a one size fits all. We have a very expanded, customized approach that is proven for you to market your business, draw in, attract, and create soulmate clients with ease, and build that consistent income from a place of alignment, from a place that feels good to you, where you feel excited, where you can show up consistently, and where it's proven, where you're like, oh my God, I get messages all the time. Holy F, this still works. Like, this
Mhm.
works. And even though I sometimes get surprised, I'm like, I'm surprised, but not surprised. It's one of those moments of like, yes, of course it works. But I still get blown away at how much energy has a lot to do with it, but we
Yes.
don't negate all the other parts, like the mindset, the alignment. That I always say, energized action, like where are inspired and spirits there, and you're flowing. Like, we check all those things to make sure you are in alignment, you are in flow, and whatever doesn't allow that, that's what we help you through as well, whether it's on through coaching skills, through marketing your business, through your personal blocks of visibility, with worth, with money. So many things come up, and it's just the beauty of having that. It's just part of the process in
Mhm.
living out your purpose.
Yeah, so beautiful. You said so much. I'm literally taking notes because I'm like, oh, I wish I could hit everything, right?
No,
Well,
just close.
but I love it. This is where our differences are so beautiful. Because from a human design perspective, Minerva's a manifester and I'm a generator, right? She came to initiate, to trendset, to create. And then us generators came to work and get excited and pick up what the manifestors are dropping and like carrying it out, right? So here we are. She created this new approach to coaching that's more energetically aligned than, and I say aligned just like you do, like what feels right for you, because everything does work for different people. There's no reason somebody who's shy needs to be in front of a camera if you don't feel comfortable with that. So the fact that you mixed human design with coaching and flow, and even realizing what does flow mean to you, because us sitting here telling you this is how it's supposed to be, guys, in my business, I try to emulate everybody, even Minerva. I'm not Minerva. I can't do that. So I
Yeah.
had to figure out my own secret sauce of what felt good, where am I having fun. And what's funny is when I'm happy, when I'm having fun, I attract all the right people, all the right opportunities, the money flows, and things just work out. Another thing you mentioned was the limiting beliefs. And I think it's one of those things that at every level, every belief is a limiting belief because you have to continue to shed and create new beliefs that allow you to expand to the next level. Because maybe at the beginning is, wow, I want to make 50K. And it's, wow, I want to make 100K. Then that 100K can be a million and more. You can always grow and expand, but it's almost like you can only increase your container by as much as where you're at in the moment. So the limiting beliefs always have to be worked on. And you also mentioned having a coach. I love that so much because as coaches, we are coaches who believe in coaching. So we
Yeah.
have to invest in coaching. We have to invest in our personal growth and even a certification. You don't necessarily need one, but it makes you so much better and so much more presentable and prepared to know this is what coaching is, this is what it is not, these are the ethics, these are the guidelines. And guys, I could go on all day about all this stuff because really I'm passionate about it. But what Minerva does and what I do is so different, but at the same time so similar that it's
Mhm.
just, it's beautiful to see it all come together.
Yeah, and I think the similarities is that it's authenticity. Like, our similarities is that we've tapped into our mission. We lead from the soul. We are passionate what we do. We change lives. We're gifted at what we do, and we own that. That's the similarity. And the way we do that is in our own unique way. And like, yeah, you've learned so many tools through Starseed, but I'm sure you've customized them and you lead them differently, or it inspired you to create something else of your own. And so, yeah, I like how you pointed that out in terms of like, we're different, but we're the same at the same time.
But that's the beauty of all of this, because from a human design perspective, which is my new obsession, right? We need each other. we can't, one of us can't work without the other, because if we didn't have the people who have that direct connection to bring something new and change and start something, what would we be excited about? What would we want to work on? What would we bring into, like, for a generator, your work, that's everything. We are here to master something over time. So it took me a couple steps to figure it out. And, Starseed was just one of those steps, but I can't recommend it enough, because in my life, it shifted so much. And it also taught me, hey, it's okay to like not get it right the first time. It's okay that maybe you were following somebody else's vision and now you're coming back to being authentic. And
Yeah.
just like you said, our experiences are so different, because even through reading a book, I might get inspired and being like, ooh, this is what I want to speak on, right? But I still have the foundation. And I think that's where Starseed excels. The foundation is solid. The foundation, it's expansive. It allows for you to be who you are, especially my woo-preneurs, for you to be who you are and really lean into your mission and serve the way that feels right to you.
Yeah. And to go back to even your point about flow is different for everyone, because flow for you as a generator, you have the energy, the sacral energy and life force to keep going. Me as a manifester, I can do things really a lot in a spurt of time, but then I'm like I need my time to reset and that's kind of the thing too about human design and what we honor at Starseed Academy is doing it your way, without the guilt, without the force, without the burnout, because I only work 4 hours a day and making consistent 5 figures a month, right? Whereas the old me, when I first started the business, I'll be like, what? That's possible? How? And I was working way more hours there and making less money back then, right? So it goes into, you only receive to the level of your belief system, right?
Mhm.
And that's something, every time I've expanded my beliefs, every time I expanded my vision, every time I expanded my vibration, that always the outcome always matches that. My experience, the clients, the results, the money, the ideas have always matched that. So you have, like, I always picture like a container, like, well, the way I picture my vibration is it's almost like a vibrational bubble, like a bubble space, a dome. And if it's here, I receive up to here. Every time I've expanded here, I receive up to that. But we can only receive up to what we are willing to receive, what we expect to receive, and what feels true for us to receive, right? And so when sometimes people say, and I think we've had this conversation too, or
Mhm.
people, students say this to me all the time, well, miss, like, I want to make 5 figures too, right? Why am I not doing it? But it's like, what is true for you in that moment? Maybe 5 figures not right now per month. Maybe it is just, what are you comfortable in receiving? What can you expand to? What do you feel comfortable in? Maybe it's 3 grand this month or 5 grand, and then you build up. Because that was me, and I had to keep expanding. And you have to choose what feels true for you in the moment, right? Because what's true for me now is different than what felt true for me a year ago, even 3 months ago,
Mhm.
perhaps, right? And same thing with you. So, we receive to a level of expectation, we receive to the level of expansion, and we receive up to our edge. And so one thing I do is like I'm sharing a little like strategy tip sort of thing, is that when I'm ready to receive even more to the next level, I tune in to my vibration, I tune in to my edge. How much am I willing to receive? Am I expanded or am I contracted? And when I check everything off in my life, the things that have shown up, clients, the income, the opportunities, the energies, always matched how my container of receiving.
Mhm. That's powerful, because I feel like I went through something similar, and it started with what you taught, right? Because part of the Starseed curriculum talks about pricing and what are you comfortable receiving, and then how much do coaches make and what feels good and what doesn't. And you kind of have to figure out, like, wait, what am I worth as a coach, right? But we tend to go the human way of, I'm going to value it based on my worth. There's no way. With as much as you read, as many conferences as you attend, as much effort and work as you're putting into your craft and what you do, there's just so much room to play around with. Like, what do you deserve? What are you comfortable receiving? And I
Yeah.
feel like I had to shed a lot of my beliefs around money, and I had to like become friends with my money, make peace with it, and be like, okay, money, I
Yeah.
want you in my life. And I've had money. I've made 6 figures in the past, but I made 6 figures the hard way. Frustrating, working
Mm-hmm.
overtime, working holidays, working weekends. And I hit a point of like depression and frustration because I'm like, what is this for? I have all this money and I'm not even enjoying it. Right.
Yeah.
So bring it now to coaching, even realizing how at the beginning I was undervaluing myself. Because there was a part of me that's like, no, there are coaches who have been at this for 10 years, but I'm like, they haven't worked as hard as I have. So it was like overcoming these blocks and allowing yourself to receive is one of the hardest things to do
Yeah.
because you think it's as simple as saying, okay, money, show up. But
Yeah.
we have this idea, right, that it has to come just from business. What
Yeah.
if you win the lottery? What if you just run into $10,000? Like the money can come however it's meant to come. It's just expanding and being in a vibration where however it shows up, you're still receiving the money and you're able to do it through business when you're operating at the frequency of, I love what I'm doing, and you're doing it from a place of service and no attachment to the money. Because I found myself, the more I cared about making money in my business, the less money that I made. And when I just
Yes.
started having fun and enjoying it and serving the people who really light me up,
Yeah.
the money just shows up.
Amen. Exactly. Exact. Same with me too. And to add to your point there, we receive to, oh, it was such, you said something so great there. And I just want to add something to that. Give me a moment.
Mhm.
We receive as much as we feel safe to receive. So yes, it's about being willing for it to come in other ways, but we don't receive if we block our own receiving if we don't feel safe to receive. So a perfect example for you, and that relates with me as well, that resonates with me as well, is that you can make six figures, but you made it through struggle and drain and burnout. And so you can block yourself now in this new stage of life of like, yeah, I can make that much money, but does that I'm probably gonna have to work really hard and do things I don't want to do and be drained, and who wants that? So we don't feel safe doing that, so we can block ourselves. So it's mindset but also energetically, and we talk about this at soul at Starseed as well, is your body consciousness, right? Like there's things we do and we hold store within our body that blocks our own receiving, and we go through that and healing those body traumas and expanding your body conscious, or letting your body lead you in terms of that healing and expanding your consciousness and vibration to receive.
Yeah.
So there's so much there, and that's why that's what it is. It's not just about, okay, here's how you get clients, this is how you coach people. It's so much. My favorite part of it is the deep inner work that we do, because it's those blocks from childhood, it's our experiences, it's the things that we have stored within every level of our consciousness that blocks our receiving and really the life that it is that we want and what is possible. And when you allow yourself and you're willing to go deep, like I was just rereading all the testimonials from our last cohort, everyone's like, this goes deep, this is hard, this is amazing, but holy shit, I've never gone so deep in my life, but
Yeah.
it's amazing, right? And it's because that's where, like, I'm not afraid to go there, and we can still go there and move forward, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
You just
I
said
know I'm
so
saying a
much
lot.
there. No, no,
I
I
keep
love it.
ranting.
I love it because it lights me up. It makes me want to speak even more. The deep, going deep. Before, yeah, it is scary for somebody to push you out of the comfort of what's safe, right?
Yeah.
But you can only take your client as deep as you've been yourself. If you don't push yourself to stretch, to shift, to go over these beliefs, like the one around, I have to work hard to make money. That was so deeply ingrained with me because again, I did make the six figures, right? I had the house, the boat, the everything, but I was not happy. So there was this belief in there around happiness doesn't stick around. And number two, I have to work hard to make money, which takes away my happiness. So I always believed I had to sacrifice something, whether it was my energy, my space, my peace, my joy, in order to make money. So even though I was positioning myself in a place of, oh, I'm ready to receive, I want six figures, I want to make money, I wasn't allowing myself to receive it because I thought if the money shows up, that means I'm going to be exhausted. That means I'm going to hate my life. That, like, all of these things were attached to it. And it was so unconscious.
Yeah.
If you can't see it, you can't fix it. And I feel like awareness is that first step. And you as a coach, but also Starseed as an institution is built around, okay, let's go there. Let's get into that little pocket that you don't want to touch, that you're protecting. Let's
Yeah.
go there because this is what's keeping you from embracing your calling, from serving your mission, from living out your purpose. And honestly, guys, money is literally an energy. It matches your belief, your safety, your vibration, where you're at. If you believe money gets to come easy, it does. If you believe I get to make money doing what I love while I'm having fun, it does. But overcoming those things is hard work. You have to go to places you've never been before.
Yeah. And once you tap in, I think once you allow yourself to do the work and you tap in and you connect to that truth, like you were saying, when you focus on money, it doesn't come, right?
Mhm.
Like yes, where your focus goes, your energy flows, but when you are focusing on fulfilling your mission, following that flow, following what lights you up, following joy, following those intuitive hits, following what feels good, choosing from a place of alignment, um, that's where more comes in, right? And that's where you start receiving more abundance and the opportunities and the clients and all this stuff. You can still be strategic, but it's about, like you said, going into the pocket and really focusing on. When I really focused on, this is my mission. I want to help people gain consistent income and change lives in the meantime through my Live Your Impossible group coaching program. I knew there were people who are like so frustrated. They have this dream in their heart, but they're doing everything against it and it's just not getting there. It's like the rabbit chasing the carrot. I knew that's what they needed. It wasn't for, the money, for this, or, for the object of money, right? It was for helping, it's for service, it's for what lit me up. It was for my purpose. It was in alignment to my mission. And once you follow those things, Live Your Impossible group coaching that we did 2 years ago, that was one of my best launches, right?
Mhm.
And same thing with Starseed. When I followed the intuitive hits, when I followed the flow, when I was in alignment, those were my best launches. Every time I tune in to how this serves someone else, how they really need it, and how this is, when it's in alignment to my mission, it always does well.
Mhm.
And yes, you do the strategy and all those things, and you refine it every time. In my experience, I keep refining, and I keep going deeper within myself too. I keep that belief of like I have to work hard to earn money. Every single time I level up, I have to go again to revisit that in a different way. So the work is never done. The
Yep.
work is never done.
That's where I was going. I was going to say this work is forever because it is your purpose, it is a mission. It never stops. You always have to be growing. You always have to be open. You always have to be a student of life. And even the people you don't consider teachers are. That's why community, nurturing, support, connecting with other coaches, finding your tribe, all of that, along with the training and the knowledge and the energy, is such a huge picture of what you need to be successful. None of us came to do this alone. It is good to have the foundation, and you get to create how your business grows. Like your business is a very clear reflection of who you are. And I
Yes.
know a lot of people tend to separate the two, right? Because we go
Yeah.
with the masculine way of you work hard, you make money, you pay the bills. But the feminine way is your business and you are one. You are flowing with the world, and your business goes up and down just like life, but you can flow through it all. And flow can be whatever you want it to be, but it's getting clear on all that, doing the work to get to the bottom of like, what is true for me? Who did I come to be? How do I want to do this? Which of these things that I'm learning are for me to carry on and bring along? Like, I think honestly, what you do is phenomenal. I admire you so much. I've told you this many times, but I just love the way that you do it because it was the first time in my life I met someone who didn't say no. They said, okay, what else is possible? And that question to this day is, wait a minute, what else is possible? Why can't I be happy and make money? Why can't I work with people that light me up and not people that drain me? Why can't I have a day off in the middle of the week because I feel like it? All of
Yeah.
these things you can create, but there's a lot of work that has to be done to get to a place where you feel safe enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point about doing alone, I don't think we're meant to do alone. For me, every time I've leveled up, I've always have worked with a coach. Now, there are people who believe it's also a belief system, right? Like I still think you probably don't need a coach. You don't need training to have the things that you want. You will maybe find some way to get there through DIYing it and struggling, and it will take longer, I believe.
Mhm.
But why not get there faster with more ease and with more flow and a deeper experience when you're partnered, like when you have someone to partner with you that you trust and who's um, credible to support you with that, right? So I think it's harder to do alone. So why would you want to make it harder for yourself, right?
If
Like,
there's an easier way, pick that
yeah,
route. And
exactly.
and also the money somehow, every time I decided, okay, this is what I want to do, somehow the money showed up. Somehow
Yes.
it worked out. Somehow I met the right people, met the right connections, got a new client. Something would happen where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow, look, I can pay this in full. I can afford this. I can take this leap. But you have to decide first, like, who do you want to be? What kind of business do you want to have? And then there are options out there like Starseed, which for me was life changing because now that I know who I am, my path, and I know how to work through my blocks, it's just an ongoing journey of continuing to do that. Except
Yeah.
now I don't always need the help, even though I will always have a coach. I believe in
Yeah.
that so much,
Yeah.
but it's becoming easier. I'm finding
Yeah.
myself having fun. I'm on TikTok doing silly videos. Like I would have never thought this would be my life, but yet here we are. Now I'm
Yeah.
the one interviewing you in my podcast. How crazy is that?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Full circle. And exactly that. You're such a great testament of that, of doing, you really took a leap of faith in yourself and leaving your job. I remember you came to class, you're like, so I quit my job. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew you were gonna do that. Even though you were like, maybe at the end of the training my plan is to quit. No, you did in the middle.
Yep.
Hopefully I'm not revealing too much
Not
there,
at
but
all.
yeah, you were a testament of faith and trust and results. So
Mhm.
yeah, everyone has so much to learn. Thank you for answering that. Is really what I'm saying. Is like really thank you for answering that call, because it's always going to be scary. There's always going to be work. It's never going to be easy. And it's not an airy fairy magical, here, it's served on a silver platter. You have to still work for it, but it could be joyous work. It could be expanded, energetic
Right.
work, a work of alignment, right?
Yes. And choose your heart. Like it can be easy or it can be hard, but at the end of the day, anything worth having is worth spending the time trying to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid for so long. And then I realized fear is my friend. And me and fear get to do this together. Like it's okay to be afraid. What's not okay is to let fear win and not do it anyways. So
Exactly.
I found my voice in that. I found myself in that. And if I can help one person, then I did my job. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Minerva, so much good in here. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything you want to leave everybody with? Anything that we missed?
No, I could talk to you forever. It was such a soul satisfying conversation. Um, One thing just to leave everyone with, let me think. There was, as you were talking, like more and more was coming up. So let me just think. Let's make this one good. Let's just ask Spirit what's left to say is follow joy, follow your heart, and there will be flow
Mm,
of abundance and everything that you want. It's really what it comes down to.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? I'll put your links in the bio at the end, but just what's coming up, what's going on with you, your links and everything so people can look you up.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jordy, you're an affiliate for Starseed Academy, so make sure you put that information down. Our next cohort is May 11th, and we only run this cohort once or twice a year, no more, because it's really deep, it's intimate. We only accept 8 people into the program. It is a full service program. You're getting the coach training, you're getting the deep personal development, personal coaching and mentorship, as well as the marketing strategies that's aligned to your energy, that's unique to you. And also, we are accredited through the International Coaching Federation. You will receive at least 80 hours of coach specific training hours. And if you choose to pursue the your ACC accreditation, you also get the 10 hours of mentorship. And we support you in getting your ACC. So visit Starseed Academy Coach Training, and Jordy will leave her affiliate link there. And yeah, this is really for people who are ready to utilize their spiritual gifts to change lives and create a consistent income.
Mhm.
Oh, also you get 1 year of business support, if I didn't mention that as well. So
Guys,
yeah,
don't miss out. If your heart is like, if you have an inkling in your gut, feel it out. Go look at the website, check it out, listen. I mean, I know this podcast was enough to turn it around, but I just encourage you, trust that feeling, because it's never going to go away. You're always going to feel like there's something more you could do. And if this is calling your name, then it is for you. Minerva, thank you again. Guys, and if this podcast resonated with you, just go ahead and subscribe so that you're the first to know when there's a new episode available for you. Feel free to share with anyone who you think could benefit from this episode. And the links for Minerva and myself will be in the bio. I'd love to stay connected. I wish you a beautiful week. Bye-bye.